Hey, how you doing? This is Dan McDonald from regenerateyourlife.org, and I'm happy to have a chance to catch up with you today. Just finished another 7-day water fast. I started one on the 1st of December, then I started one on the 1st of January, and so I just finished 7 days, and it was really amazing, and I wanted to check in with you and just say hello and tell you about the possibilities of healing yourself. And I'm actually going to stop using that terminology, healing, because I realized while I was fasting that it's not really about healing so much as it is about allowing wholeness to arise. Because I was thinking about a lot of things like people want to heal from cancer. But what I realized was that cancer is actually like a gift. Cancer is actually Mother Nature and God loving you. Now that kind of sounds strange because a lot of us feel like we're being attacked by some external disease. And as you go down this road of creating wholeness in your being, integrating possibly parts of yourself that you neglected, left behind, different types of traumas and things like that, so you can experience the flow of life energy, which has always been my goal: vitality, health, regeneration, really. And so when I say like cancer is a gift from Mother Nature, now this is just the way I'm looking at it right now, but you know, cancer or a disease is Mother Nature and God's way of giving you another day. You know what I mean? Because they love you that much. And what happens, I think, is that we, in a big, big way, and I'm just as guilty as anybody else, have left behind the common sense laws of nature. We've really left nature, and we've really left behind our knowledge and understanding intuitively of the laws of nature, which of course we cannot break. We cannot break the laws of nature. We can't break the laws of God. We can't like send out hateful thoughts into the world and think that we're going to get love back. You cannot transcend that law. If you're feeling hatred towards your brothers and sisters, you really cannot expect, according to the law, for love to be returned. Do you understand? But if you put out love, then you have a very high likelihood that you will, in turn, be feeling that love in return as well. So loving people simply allows them to love you back. And hating people, they're not going to say, oh, you know, they might feel compassion for you or empathy, which is a form of love, but they're not going to want to be around you if you're sending out this hate vibration. And some people are more sensitive than others. I find, you know, in general, women can be more intuitive and more sensitive to their emotions and to their energy body, where generally men can be more in tune with the contemplative side of things or the intellect. But it's really nice through this fasting process how I'm able to really wake up through and to that intuitive vibrational energy qualities that might take place between two people or a group of people. In other words, what I've been seeing happen with this experience here is really a dropping down into the body, into the heart, instead of Mr. Head Boy. It's made me who I am. It's made me the life regenerator, head boy, figure everything out, you know what I mean? And then I talk a lot, and it makes for an interesting thing, but it didn't really make for me to have a truly nourishing life, you know, because I was so stuck up in my head. And so now I'm good at that, and I'm able to do that here on the camera, but as much as I can, I drop down into the heart and really work on feeling what my heart's telling me, to live within the heart. I want to go back to the cancer analogy. When you are neglecting things and you're breaking the laws of nature, whatever that is, I mean, you simply cannot eat 4 cheeseburgers, 6 cheeseburgers a day and expect that and not expect that to catch up with you. You can't expect to eat white sugar and flour products all day, every day, and not expect that to catch up with you, or gallons of coffee, or packs of cigarettes. You know what I mean? Like, if you smoke 1 or 2 cigarettes a day, every day, you know what I mean? It's like, whatever. But if, you know, so there's the differences in that. Now, I don't recommend any of that. But my point is that the cancer or the disease is that energy just being stored away in tissues so that you can actually live another day. And I think that it's Mother Nature and Father God's way of giving you another day in hopes that you may not perish for your lack of knowledge. You may find another better way, find some information, or find friendship, or find a little bit more love, a little bit more courage, a little bit more insight, and a little bit more of a willingness, more than anything else, to really look at this. Because I mean, I imagine from where I'm sitting right now, I'm 40 years young, and I can imagine people going their entire lives without having the willingness to feel, to look, to change. And they may go from relationship to relationship, or they may go from job to job. They may go from complaining to complaining to complaining, and never really get at the core of their issue, never really take responsibility and do what it takes to process whatever it was that is kind of holding them in that space, like victim mentality. You might have gotten really, really abused as a child. You might have gotten really, really traumatized. And as a child, there was nothing you could do. And I'll speak somewhat in reference in my own situation and what I'm going through, and observing and allowing to become whole and integrated. Abuses, abandonment, molestation, neglect, rejection, and that type of thing. The scope is all there, and every one of us experiences it to some degree or another. Some parents are really, really receptive. Some parents are overprotective. Some parents are like, if the kid starts crying, they just throw them into a room and lock the door. So there's a lot of different ways that humans sort of unconsciously get programmed from the very get-go. Imagine having really wonderful parents that were there for you, but weren't like, super like clingy, like the mom that's like standing over you. Oh, don't break that. Oh, that's glass. Look out. Be careful. Oh, let me hold your hand while we cross the street. No, honey, don't go up there. And then the kid's like just paranoid. That really wasn't my case. And then there's it's a healthier situation where it's like the kid looks back and the mom is watching the kid crawl up the little bars, and it's like, okay, the mom's there, but she's not really tripping. She's just letting the little one do its thing, and the little one looks back. Is mom still there? And they can courageous and build their own courage, and whatnot. And then there's other parents that are like for little kids, that might cry out like, are you there for me? And they're just, they might not be. And then you get some kind of idea in your mind that you're not lovable. You see what I'm saying? And so when we're talking about health, we've been going over the food thing, and everybody's arguing about food and all this stuff. And I think, I got the food thing down. You want to get your bowels cleaned out, and your kidneys cleaned out, and your liver and all that, and have nice skin. That's pretty cool. I'm really glad I went down this road of the food trip and kind of really ended up like in a state of, pretty high state of mastery with that. Now, the fasting thing is not, and people are like, what about your body? You're so skinny. It's like, who gives a crap about the body? You got a lot of people that are driving around a nice car, but I'm telling you, they're running on 3 cylinders. Their tires are, totally like all out of different air pressures. The carburetor's clogged up. So it looks good on the outside because they have a nice paint job, muscles or whatever. But deep down inside, they're fermenting and rotting, and the gas isn't working, and the carburetor's not working, and their mind isn't clear. Let me tell you about mental clarity. On this last fast, holy macaroni, I had the most mental clarity I've ever had. I actually fasted on enzymes and lemon water for 7 days. Okay, so that was an incredibly powerful experience, something I'll definitely do again. It was totally unique and completely different than just water itself or juice fasting. And it dug deep, and it was tough. On certain days, I had way more energy. So the enzymes did something to, the enzymes were producing more oxygen, and they were also digesting and breaking up a lot of the proteins and carbohydrates and fats that would be within the cells and tissues of the body, or within the GI tract and the duodenum, etc. So there was tons more energy. And what that did, though, was it brought up these issues at a much more rapid pace, these things that I had buried a long time ago. So this is, this is very much me being very vulnerable, but it's cool because I know that some people are going to get this. They're going to understand it, and they're going to be prodded along, because I know there are some, oh man, all I got to do is look at the world. All I got to do is go see the guy at the pizza place today where I picked up a pizza for my daughter's lunch because that's what she wants. I went there and I could see he was broken. I said, how you doing today? He's like, well, I'm a little sick, a little this, a little that. I could just see people, they're just hurting. They're broke deep down inside, you know? And they don't have a lot of love for themselves. And they neglected those little parts of themselves that got hurt. So again, on this fast, you know, I had some amazing experiences, but I'll tell you, there was 2 very sleepless nights. And remember last fast I said facing the demons? Okay, well let me tell you about the demons on this fast. They were bigger, badder, stronger, meaner. I mean, it was intense. I had 2 nights where I did not sleep 1 wink. And it's because I think that I was digging into, see what happens is we have these stresses in our lives. And we have these perceptions of maybe like I'm not lovable. And then we have these experiences in our lives that come up, that bring up that memory, that mind and that memory. And then the heart releases chemicals into the bloodstream. Well, those chemicals are actually toxic. And so the immune system, what it does is it takes these proteins and throws up these protective proteins, which are just meant to be temporary protective mechanisms. And then these proteins protect the body and the tissues and the nerves and the brain and the heart and all the very important vital organs and glands. It protects those from those toxic chemicals. Well, what if you have a persistent release of those chemicals? It's kind of like the vaccines that they get like every 2 months now until they're like 3 years old. It was a lot less when I was a kid and the other generations, but more and more vaccines. So what happens is you're having this constant onslaught of this toxic material. It's like pesticides, it's everything. Toxins are everywhere. So there's toxins being released emotionally as well. And this is where I jumped a whole nother level. So that's why I'll be working on the unconscious, which I've already begun to come up with some amazing things and have amazing results with some counseling, and then just asking people to help me. And I can share about more of that later. There's a lot more to come from the guy you call the Life Regenerator here, that's for sure, because this thing is really happening to me, and I've been working at this for years, and I want to be of service to you with my own crazy little way of doing it here. So God bless you, and I hope you find the ultimate wellness and wholeness. That's my whole intent. It's just to help you. That's it. To really glean anything you can off this vlogging here that I'm doing is what we call it, or this sharing, and really embrace the courage, because I will tell you, to lay there with yourself 4 in the morning, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, wondering, am I going to get any sleep tonight? And the answer becomes absolutely no. By the time it's 8 o'clock in the morning and you go, okay, well, screw it, it's time to get up and do something, go for a walk or whatever. It's like here's the experience I had. The brain and nerves on fire, all night long, on fire. The heart, heavy, and yet beating really fast. So this heavy darkness, like a crust of darkness, of not able to love and be loved. And I could see that. Like I could see the love in my heart wanting to bust through into the world. And I could see the love of the world wanting to come into me. But yet I saw this layer, which is thinner than it used to be. Amen. Praise the Lord. And so whatever it takes to whatever work, whatever intuitive, whatever books, whatever knowledge, whatever people, counselors, body work, enzymes, healing, juicing, fasting, meditating, whatever it takes to get this heart opened up to this guy for the love of himself. And that's really one of the magic keys of what's been happening here. It was just really embracing those parts of myself that I neglected. They're calling out, this little boy, hurt. I mean, really, 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 really hurt repeatedly over and over again. And so there's those toxic chemicals being released for an entire lifetime up until this very day through these experiences. Like if everything is one certain way on the outside, then the nervous system can relax and release. But when the situation begins to confirm those unconscious belief systems that were built up at a very young age, well then the nervous system does what it does, and it sends those messages to the heart, and the heart and the glands release all those toxic chemicals, fight or flight. And then the immune system throws up those proteins to protect, which are supposed to be a temporary thing, to protect from like the saber-toothed tiger, which, you know, either you get away from the saber-toothed tiger and then you don't. And then you go back, and then 15, 20, 30 minutes, 2 hours later, everything's back to calm again. And then that can last for a day or a week or a month or a year before another saber-toothed tiger chases you. Well, in our day and age, with the way that we are with fear and stress and trauma and really dysfunctional families, it's like stress is constant. You're always in the fight or flight saber-toothed tiger mode. And if you're running from a saber-toothed tiger, you know, 24/7, 365, for some of us, there's people that are a lot worse than me that have had a lot worse experiences, for sure. There's no doubt. I'm more in the middle. It's like I had like an okay-ish life. Like my dad went to work and I got to eat, you know, and I wasn't like I didn't have like super duper weird, crazy stuff, but like not cool and not good for a kid. But I mean, I know some people that get like really, really, really bad things happen to them that is not good. And they're really messed up. And then they like start eating, and then it goes from food, and then it goes to drugs. And then by the time they're like 37 or whatever, or 42 or 57, they still haven't dealt with that pain. And so thankfully mine is more of a thing where it's like not super duper duper, but it's bad enough to where the heart could use a lot of love, and the little boy in there, that those little parts that got neglected, they kind of got overshadowed by this, I'm the spiritual guy and I read a lot of books and I know all the answers and I can just ignore that little person in there. Well, let me tell you what, as soon as I started paying attention to that little guy, somehow the counselor knew, this amazing lady. I mean, unbelievable. Best counseling I've ever had in my entire life by far. It wasn't even counseling. She just told me to shut up, basically. Stop talking. Like I'm doing now. She's like, stop talking, get on the floor, do this, talk to the little boy, put your hands on your heart. I mean, she got me right into the core of it. And I had 2 sessions with her within a 7-day period while water fasting. So each session was a quantum leap. And as soon as I paid a little bit of attention to that little boy, oh my God, he cried. I asked him what he wanted, and he told me. And I tell you, I'm a different person. I'm just a different person. I'll tell you right now, I can tell you there is still much more opportunity for growth and more wholeness to come in. But Dan McDonald, he never felt at home in his own body. No matter how much food and all this stuff and health and muscles, and that's the thing, you're not strong. It's like, y'all don't even know about health. If you're still looking about muscles and how far you can ride your bike, you have no idea what real health is, okay? I'm not even gonna fall for that crap. I'm talking about holistic. I'm talking about a mind. Oh man, maybe I'll tell you about that now. I was gonna try to keep it shorter, but screw it. You know me, I never can. My mind, that was the thing about the enzymes. Holy crap. On day 2, my mind was literally an electrical field of power. I could see the electricity in my brain, and it was lit up. And then what I could see was my own unconscious mind. And there was like a movie screen on my stomach, and I could see my dad there, and I could see his behaviors, and I could see my mom there, and I could see why I was responding the way that I was to everything, to my relationship with Sophia, to my finances, to my relationship with the YouTube. And you know what's beautiful? This is the most powerful part of the whole video, I bet, so I'm glad you're still here. But you know what I saw? As clear as a bell, laying there on night number 2. Holy crap. I saw that every single thing in my life was an exact, just replica of exactly what I was holding inside myself at an unconscious level. I was absolutely 100% attracting every single thing into my life. Just like, let's say there's haters. They ain't haters. They're just They're just giving you exactly what you're asking for because of the beliefs that you have. So we have to start changing our money. We have to start changing our beliefs about money. We have to start changing our beliefs about our worth. We have to start changing our beliefs about how we feel we should be treated by our partner because, or people, or our kids, or anybody, because they are treating us exactly the way we're asking them to. And people are treating us all the way across the board exactly as we're asking them to, from a very deep vibrational and unconscious level. And even if these people in your life want to love you more, you aren't letting them because of what's going on deep down inside you. Now, I'm not going to be able to do this here on a video, talk about what you need to do. I'm a seed planter. But my friend Isaac came to hang out with me for a couple of days. He said, Dan, I think you should get some counseling. I've been getting it for years. And I'm like, Isaac, you're the most well-adjusted dude I've ever known in my life. He came up to see me because he thought he made a huge mistake. He's like, Dan, I really need to come see you. And I've been kind of a loner, but I'm going to start opening up to people. I can tell I'm calling people. And it's like, what? Because I've been so closed down because the little boy, he doesn't want to have nothing to do with anybody. He's so angry. He's just in there like this. Until I get somebody to pay attention to me, damn it, I'm just going to shut down. We're not going to have any fun. We're not going to laugh. And so my boy came to see me. He's like, dude, you got to get some counseling. I got right there while he was there because I was like, otherwise I might blow it off. I got on there. I set an appointment. She called me. I said, what's up? She's like, you're the kind of dude I want to work with. I went in there. Bam. Day number 1. Quantum leap. Bam. So you might need to find counseling. You might need to do the raw foods because the raw foods is incredible. And I don't know, I can't really suggest fasting, but I'm just saying when you take out all the food distraction, because I will tell you, I can easily use food. I can easily use raw food as a covering over of my feelings and a covering over of my feelings, just stuffing them back down. Because when I know why people don't want to fast because of what happened on the night number 4 and night number 6. Or was it it might have been night number 3 and night number 5. I should start taking notes, but I took a lot of mental notes. So it was night 3 and night number 5 where I couldn't sleep a wink. So what's night number 3, couldn't sleep a wink, nervous system on fire, heart beating like a thocka, 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 thocka all night long. But I put my hands on my heart and I stayed there with it. Dan, I love you. I'm going to stay here with it. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to go. Just be here with this. Most of us, I spent my life, running doing the drugs. Why? Because I don't want to feel this stuff. I don't want to feel this. Now, at 40 years young, I'm mature enough to understand what's going on. I'm mature enough to walk through the fire of hell to get to the other side where heaven is. And many of us will never do that. We will make up all these things about... And that's why when you threaten people's food thing by talking about I'm a water faster, that's why all these people, they know water fasting is the most powerful. The absolutely most powerful, where the rubber meets the road, where the changes take place, where the miracles happen. Fasting is where the miracles happen because you're physiologically cleansing yourself, you're giving your nerves a break, kind of, and sort of, but they do get fired up through the memories. But you give your clarity. My mind on this last water fast, and I think it has to do with the enzymes. I quadrupled my enzyme, I just wanted to do this. Like, what's up with these, what's up with these enzymes? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it lit my brain up. And my mind was so clear. So I have a new saying, then you can all quote me on this below the video. Food is for the body. And fasting is for the mind. Because your mind, holy crap, my mind was so clear. It was so funny. And then I started eating yesterday and I just watched it go. I'm like, oh my God. And I've said that saying, food is for the body, because I'm skinny as hell right now, but I don't even care. I don't care what anybody says. I still got more work to do. I'm not even done yet. I'm not even close. I'm just getting started. The refinement process, I call it inner engineering. It's refinement, it's regeneration, it's illumination. I've got more work to do because that constant onslaught boom, boom, boom of the stress that comes from that I'm not lovable. That was the message that came. That's what's trying to get through to me, is that there's that little dude in there that's like, believes he's not lovable. So how can the world love me back? I'm looking for love outside myself, but now I'm going into a real process of learning to love myself. That's where the source of love is. That's where the source of the love is to learn to love myself. So I'm becoming my own best friend. And now I'm like, well, what do you really want to do, bro? Like, what do you want to do? What makes you happy? Like, let's have some fun here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got plenty of resources. It's like infinite. You can like literally do anything, and yet you get stuck in these ruts of consciousness and thinking that you think you're stuck, you think you're trapped, and it's like, you're the only one keeping you there. I guarantee it. You can bust out wide open. But these things like the raw foods will start to wake you up, and the fasting especially will wake you up. My mind was so clear. I saw things in a totally different way. I also prepared a lot better for this fast. I did massive enzyme therapy before and during the fast. I also did the Pura cleanse, and I had a few days to prepare. The last one I just went straight from like gourmet food right into a water fast. So it took a few days, and I was kind of like, it was funky. But this one I really had the colon cleaned. I was prepared. I had done it, started with just juices and fruit and a lot of enzymes and other bowel cleansers and things, and I was ready to rock. So I was already in the heavy detox on day one, because I was going to do the Gospel of Peace. I was going to read that on day one of the water fast to prepare myself and to honor that deal that we made. And so I'm going to get to the Gospel of Peace here real soon, and the reading of that and the power of the fasting. So my next move is to really quiet down. I'm going to try to work. I got to work. I'm here at my kid's house, and I got to work. But I also need to take more time off too. I mean, I'm the life regenerator. I've been pumping. And this last week I disappeared. I didn't answer an email. I barely answered the phone. It was nice. I could be there with myself. And that's another one of the reasons why I had some quantum leaps. I mean, I'll never be the same as I was. And I'm clear on what's next. Oh, baby. I'm blowing the lid off this thing. And I'm going to do as much as I can to, just share, like I'm sharing with you, because maybe the things that I'm sharing will help you to get an idea. Because man, we can look at this thing like, oh, you eat this and I eat that. I get so tired of it. It makes me just like, that's why the YouTube for the last few years, it's like my job. It's also a passion, but it's also like, damn, y'all are like low consciousness, like food, and like no love, no respect, no understanding, no compassion, no wholeness, no healing, no illumination, no faith. I don't care what diet you're on, it's not going to do you any good. You're not going to change. You're not going to transform without the love. Now you take the diet, and you take the fasting, and you take the love and the meditation, and you take that ability to really be there with yourself instead of abandoning yourself, because we're all about like pleasant. If it isn't pleasant, screw it. If it isn't pleasant, I'm going to go smoke something. If it isn't pleasant, I'm going to go eat something and make it pleasant temporarily. And you just keep stuffing it down, whatever it is, all those emotions. And you're walking around with that. Whether you're aware of it or not, it doesn't matter. The world is reflecting back to you the fact that you don't love yourself. The world is reflecting back to you that you don't believe that you're lovable. So everything you do is going to just simply reflect that back to you. Or maybe it has to do with the finances. I'm not worthy. And so you're running around on the treadmill and you're just barely paying your bills when you could be totally abundant, because you have so many skills and talents to give to the world, and they're hungry for it. And all you need to do is get a little bit focused, have more faith and more love in yourself, and go through this process of doing the work. And it's really like, sometimes it's not, for me, it's less about doing. Like, I can put my hand on the plow and get a lot more done than most people in one day. But sometimes for me, what I've been trying to do is like, I'll plant the flower, and the flower will start growing. And as soon as I see the flower, I'm out there like watering it with 5 gallons of water, putting way too much fertilizer on it, standing around it, blocking the sunlight. Come on, flower, hurry up and grow. This is Dan McDonald, trying to like breathe on it and sing to it and like force it. Well, for me, my lesson is to step back, to allow. to let go, to have faith. To have faith that everything that's happening is because God and Mother Nature love me. And it's true. The miracles that I experienced on this last water fast are indescribable. They're small and they're subtle, but they're miraculous at the same time for me. Because I got to see things, I got to see the work that's to come. I got to see that there is more opportunity for more growth and wholeness and integration. And I also got a lot of relief by laying there those 2 nights with that pain. By laying there with that pain and just being there with it, not being able to sleep, and finally not neglecting it, because I know for many years and many nights, I would use that food to drug myself up at night. I could go all day without eating. And I know people will say like, oh, you have to eat so much at night because you should have been eating during the day. But that's not really what it was, because I'm never hungry. It was never hunger at night. It was always a desire to suppress, so that I could just be full and sleep and suppress all that stuff that's been wanting to come up, because my awareness continues to evolve and evolve and evolve and evolve. So one of my fears about these videos is that I left out so much. Like there's more questions now than were answered. I mean, I could have made a 1-minute video maybe and just tried to be more inspiring, but I think some of the details and the stories and the anecdotes and what I'm going through might be helpful. And so, yeah, a 7-day water fast. I probably drank about a gallon of water a day, maybe a gallon of water and the equivalent of 1 or 2 lemons, just because the lemons help dissolve the mucus. And the enzymes just brought up so much mucus out of my lungs. The enzymes brought up so much mucus out of my brains. And the proteases and the serrapeptidase, those are the protein splitting enzymes that are going in there and breaking up those old immune system barriers. Because like I was saying, with the immune system, it'll send out those proteins to protect the very precious tissues and organs. And then what's supposed to happen is that those proteins are just, once the stressor is gone, or the toxin or the invader, that protein just gets recycled back into the blood, back into the liver, and reutilized, and then it washes out. But what happens is, over time, as we have these stressors and these toxins, these persistent toxins, particularly in the case of, like, one great example is like vaccines, when you've got mercury and copper and lead and formaldehyde and all these adjuvants, I mean, that's, you think, come on. You really think I'm that stupid? You know what I mean? That we went for billions of years and didn't need that stuff, and all of a sudden we all need vaccines so we don't get diseases? Come on, man. Come on. You got to be dumber than the stump to fall for that. I like to speak out very loudly about vaccines, because some people are still, they're like, they've been so programmed that they literally believe in it. And I have to say, okay, go for it. Go get your kids vaccinated all day, every day. Go shoot that crap up into your stuff. But when those toxins go into your brain, that's when the immune system throws up all those, and you'll see it in Alzheimer's. They're doing a lot of research. You can research all this stuff. There's thousands of papers. Beta amyloid plaquing, neurofibrillary tangles, protecting the neurons, but also at the same time protecting them and then shutting them down so they don't even work, so the neurons can't connect. And as soon as you start, and see, now normally it'd be a temporary little stressor, a little bit of stress, if the immune system shoots up some and throws up some of those proteins to protect the very sensitive tissues so that the body can protect itself. It doesn't want those toxins getting into the tissues. Well, what happens when the barrage of these toxins are constant and persistent? What happens is it ends up being like a fibrotic, sclerotic issue. Like these proteins become hardened mucus is what Arnold Ehret, I think, would have referred to it as. In today's day and age, we call it fibrosis. And the hygienists used to call it induration. Whatever you want to term it, it's hardened proteins from the constant, and they just never, they were the proteins, and the body would like, the intelligence of the body would, there's no point in bringing these proteins back down and recycling them into the liver, because this barrage, it's like with weed, or it's like with cocaine, or it's like with coffee or white sugar. I mean, fruits and herbs and nuts and seeds are gentle and they're living, and the cells in the body can like utilize that stuff. But like these harsher, abrasive, acidic, whether it's from the food or the drugs, the pharmaceutical, recreational, or from the chemicals that are released during stress. And when it's constant and persistent, these proteins just become hardened. And what that does, it inhibits blood flow, it inhibits oxygen utilization. That's why people get tired. And that's why like pituitary glands shut down and thyroids shut down and people have heart attacks, and the inflammation even for the athletes. You know what I mean? And then this chronic inflammation becomes induration and fibrosis. And that's why you get stiff. Look at that little baby, chubby. You could drop, I mean, I don't suggest this, but you know, a baby drops and it actually, their body just whoop, will really regenerate itself really fast. You know, when you're, 12 years old and you twist your ankle, you know, you're back in the game in 15 minutes. Well, when you're 35 and you've got inflammation and your enzyme count is really low, 35, you twist your ankle, it takes you like 2 weeks to get back in the game. So what we're trying to do is regenerate ourselves, get rid of that fibrotic and sclerotic tissue, and it ain't easy. And that's why the enzymes lit up my brain on this last one. You have to have your own experience with the enzymes before you understand. You know, when I was taking enzymes before with Lou, I would take like 5 or 10 enzymes when I'd eat gourmet raw. I mean, it's not enough to really see it for what it is. But when you take enzymes on an empty stomach for therapeutic purposes, and you do the research of what they're doing in Germany, what they're doing in Japan, which is where most of the enzymes are made, you'll find out more about what the best surgeons are doing, even in America, to bring the inflammation down on the after the cosmetic surgery, and especially post-surgery. In Germany, they're using it, the enzymes, and I am using those enzymes now for that sclerotic tissue that I know was built up from stress and vaccines and all the other stuff that I did. And I took a nice chunk out of it on this last one. I can feel my oxygen utilization a lot better. I can feel, I got rid of a lot of mucus. It was coming out of my ears, it was coming out of my nose, and it was coming out of my lungs. That was the biggest thing, I think, was my lungs got so much better on this last water fast, and I'm stoked. But a lot of mucus just came out of my nose. And this is hardened mucus that I've been experiencing for quite some time, and I know that I can feel that there's more to go. But I'm going to dig deep with the enzymes and the fasting and the juicing and the raw foods and lemon and citrus. Citrus juices are amazing for the dissolving of the mucus. So what's interesting, I find about the enzymes, and I'm going to be sharing a lot more with you about this, because when I'm water fasting, I have nothing else to do except research. You won't hear much about it in America, and there's a great resistance. But see, certain things are born out of a necessity. And the necessity is cooked foods. You eat cooked foods, and then 45, well, more like 60 or 70 years ago was the beginning of the enzymes. But when they started to become mass produced 40 years ago, particularly in Japan, these huge facilities where they actually grow enzymes on mushrooms. And mushrooms, as you know, decompose everything and bring everything back and make everything possible again for life to reemerge. So these are, they're grown on vegetables and stuff, and then they're cultured. And I'll explain to you more about what enzymes are. It's very fascinating and amazing. But when you eat so much cooked food, because that's what we all do, right? We just raised on cooked food. You just, your pancreas is just, it's like, I can't keep up with this. No, then your liver can't keep up with it. Your thyroid can't keep up with it. Your adrenals, your kidneys, it just cannot keep up with the constant overeating of the cooked food. So, these enzymes, they're using them all around the world, but they don't use them in America because America's a for-profit medical system. And so you'll find out, we all know that pharmaceuticals don't work. Well, they work, but only as a suppression. You might as well just go home and drink beer. You know what I'm saying? You might as well just drink whiskey. You might as well just eat a bunch of pizza or eat a bunch of white sugar or some other reason to suppress the pain. Because all you're doing is suppressing symptoms. But the thing is, these other countries that are using them, especially in Europe for 40 years, they've been using them with great results. You're going to find out that they are more into actually getting results. In America, they're not. They don't want to help you. They're not trained for it. Maybe they mean well and they meant well at some time, but now they're in the status quo. Doctors don't live very long because they're very stressed out because they feel very guilty. Because when they started out, they really wanted to help and they thought that's what it was about. But over 100 years ago, the medical establishment was bought out. And it's been bought out ever since. And now it's here, take this drug. I don't know a damn thing about real health, know nothing about nutrition, nothing about emotional, mental, spiritual healing, zero. Take this drug, suppress your symptoms. And it just doesn't work. Well, with the enzymes, what you find out is that the beauty of the enzymes for the inflammation, the inflammatory effects, and the breaking down of the protein structures, which in those protein structures, this is what I found out, and this is why I went through hell, is that are those stored memories and emotions. And that's why I was up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning wondering, am I going to sleep at all? And the answer was no, and 2 nights in a row, not one single wink. Because as those proteases and the serrapeptidase, the serrapeptidase is actually the most powerful protein dissolving enzyme available today. It's very expensive and very to make, but it is actually in the Lifezyme. And so I was using Lifezyme instead of the PuraCleanse. The PuraCleanse is to cleanse the blood. The Lifezyme has the serrapeptidase, which was really what I was after, because once I've done probably about 10 hours of research on serrapeptidase, and it's like fascinating. I'm going to do a lot more research on that. But I know that it was breaking up those hardened proteins, and Arnold Ehret would have called it the hardened mucus. Well, back in those days, it might have been a lot less, and that's why Arnold Ehret had to fast and within 2 years of a fruit diet and fasting, he fasted 200 days or something like that. Or maybe not quite 200 days, but to help to heal just his kidneys. Now, it's not just your kidneys, it's just that's the place that it's worse. Your worst place is your liver. Your worst place is the Alzheimer's, is where your inflammation is taking place, depending upon a lot of different factors. The main weaknesses in your body, that's where the inflammation is going to show up the worst, but it's all throughout your whole body. So we're removing that inflammation, and it's allowing us to heal by breaking up those hardened protein structures. And then as those protein structures are being released, you're going to have to deal with the emotional stuff. Now, this isn't just like if you're 100 pounds overweight, you're going to do raw foods and you're going to lose a lot of weight. But that doesn't mean that you're going to get down into the nitty gritty where you're going to see, like with me, I'm an intense dude. I'm going all the way. I'm not sitting around here I'm skinny and I'm ready to go. I know that I can feel better, and I know there's more potential there, and that's what I love about myself, is I can sense it. It's like, yo, Dan, you could definitely love more, you could have more energy, you could have more clarity, you could have more productivity, you could have more peace, more ease. This is what it is. I mean, I'm aware of a lack of ease, but where is that coming from? Well, I do a water fast, and my mind lights up, and I get some very, very clear pictures of where that's coming from. Then I can begin to make conscious choices from my willful and adult intelligent self, to make those conscious choices that will allow me to relinquish that which is inhibiting the ease within this body, in this mind, in this spirit, in this heart. And so that's why I'm doing the work that I do. And it's fun to share with you here, because that is actually a part of the healing for me to give back. Because I know this is really rare. Most people, 60, 70, they're out, they're dead. And that's after like around about 30. Not me. Not me. I'm up. See, because there's this, there's this, which is a tonifying and a regeneration. Then there's the, this blah, just like this. A lot of people are like this. Just, it's cool. I got my bills paid. My health's all right. I'm not dying. I'm not that great. I'm not in that great a shape, but I'm not sick either. And then there's, more than likely, I think there's a nice mix between this and then just this. Drugs and overeating, depression, and, anger and violence, domestic abuse, neglect, rejection, hopelessness, despondency, suicide, depression. Depression, suicide. Or a slow suicide. I'm just going to take these drugs and I'm just going to eat whatever I want. I don't care. I'm just going to live on welfare in the ghetto. I'm not putting anybody down. I did it myself. Thank God for it. You know what I'm saying? But if you're stuck there, I was never planning on stuck on food stamps. You know what I'm saying? I was going to make something out of myself, whatever I had to do. You know what I'm saying? And so everybody has it. Everybody has it. No matter how far down you've gone. No matter what your parents were like, no matter what abuses you've been through, you can turn it around. If you got one breath left in you, you can turn it around. I know it. I know it. I know it. I know it. Because you have access. We all have access to that. We all have access to that. And if you're brave enough and you're courageous enough, it's not that there's no fear there. It's just that you choose courage. You choose the courage to look at and feel the fear and continue to walk forward in your life anyways and ask for help and take the steps to do the things that are going to help you. Fasting might not be on your heart. It was on my heart from the day I found out. I never even knew what fasting was until I read the Gospel of Peace. And after that, it was over. I was visited by a light. I was visited by the light. And I've never been the same since. And it has done nothing but put the wind in my sails and lift me up to a higher and higher level. And now it's regeneration, tonification, purification, refinement, baby, refinement. That's what I was saying about the thing about like cancer or healing. You're not broken. It doesn't matter if you're 500 pounds. You're not broken. It doesn't matter if you're dying of cancer. You're not broken. Nothing needs to be healed. You see, it's not about healing. It's about integrating wholeness. And within the integration of that wholeness, that template of wholeness and love, the weight will just melt right away. The shift in your consciousness by becoming aware of that little person inside of you or those several different archetypes that you've been ignoring. For some reason, the lady that I counseled with just picked up on the 5-year-old boy. I don't know how she knew, but she had eyes like this. And she could see right through me. I was sitting there just going, holy shit, this lady can see right through me. And she just said, do this, do this, do this. She didn't waste no time because it's an hour. And she don't want to waste my time. No how. And now I'm going to go travel for a couple weeks, so I don't get to see her, but I'm going to head my ass back to Ashland and do this thing again. And it is fun. This is an art. I was talking to Sophia yesterday, and I was like, I had just broke the fast with mandarins because I had to come. I didn't have to come see the kids, but I wanted to. Katya really needs me right now. I see where I've been neglectful. You see what I'm saying? It just passes on. And my parents can't really be there for me right now. I got to do this for myself, but I can be there for her. And we can break the cycle of neglect. You'll have to forgive me. I forgive myself. What could I have done? It's what I learned. Now I can be there for her so she doesn't have to run around and with these boys and do some of the things she's doing to get in trouble, you know? Like, she's just looking for what, you know, she's looking for what I didn't give her, you know, and these other punks, you know, with all the rap music and all that. Anyways, we're going to hang out today and have a good time. So, anyways, I know what I worry about is like, did I make more questions than I did answers? I'm going to run it out the whole hour. So, I want to give you everything I've got. Do you understand? And so, it's a very special person to me if you're still here. You're very, very special to me if you're still here watching. A little crazy. Probably hungry for some truth, aren't you? And love. And you got that here. I saw myself, I have more love to give. I saw myself loving that guy at the pizza place, and he knew it. And it changed his day. He was so sad. And I said, you're lovable, man. Check out my YouTube videos, man. Because he was sniffly, and I mean, he worked at a pizza place. And he said, yeah, I've been working in this pizza place, and I see what it goes into this crap, and I start looking into it. He's trying to make a difference. And I said, oh, you're a guy, you want to see these YouTube videos, bro. Because the raw food thing is real. I love it. I'll probably do it the rest of my life, talk about food, but I won't leave out the rest. No way, man. So many other things going on for true wholeness. To really become the shining star that you were always meant to be. Maybe your parents took that away from you, and you haven't smiled or laughed in as long as you can remember. You can get that back. I was done with this water fast and had those counseling sessions and talked to that little boy, and I'm all like joking with Sophia, and I'm like, what? I'm like, you hardly ever joke. You're so serious, Dan, you know? You're so serious all the time. This adult, this spiritual guy who's read 5 million books. Now I'm learning to trust myself. So listen to myself. I really want to do something good with my life. And I think I am right now. In fact, yeah, see, you are, Dan, right now. You know, this is real. These videos are the most real on YouTube, at least what I'm talking about. Because a lot of it's polished up, you know. I got a lot more to come. So that's pretty good there. I guess I won't run it out to the whole hour. What happens is this camera, it goes an hour and it starts a new clip, and I figure, wow, why start a little 5-minute clip or whatever. I didn't plan on talking an hour, but sometimes it gets flowing and things start coming through, and you can learn about whatever it is that might have came through today that hopefully inspired you, gave you some insight into like what might be, where you might be just looking at the food too much. And I just, to this day, I think I'm still angry about it or whatever, just thinking all these people with their whole food thing. It's like, you know, and all the videos I see out there about Dan McDonald this and Dan McDonald that, he eats this and he doesn't eat that and he says this. And it's like, Dan McDonald's doing his own thing, but like I've said it before, and it's one of the funniest things, I don't care what diet you have, if you're going to be a dick, it just doesn't matter, you know, you're never going to succeed. You have to be kind to people, everyone. I don't go to the guy at the pizza place and say, well, you dumbass, you eat these pizzas. Of course your sinuses are clogged up. Eat like I do, dummy. You know, is that going to help him? No, of course not. But people do that, and they think they need to shove their veganism down your throat or something like that, you know. And that's never going to work. It just ain't never going to work. All these dietary beliefs, it's like, I got a really good handle on it. I mean, I'm serious. Like, I can understand people eat meat, they eat cooked food, but you know what I'm saying? You look at their guts, they're strong, they're robust, the animal eaters, and they're accelerated metabolism. And same thing with the people that eat a lot of food, the high food people, the eat a lot of sugar people. So there's the people over here eating a lot of meats, and then there's people over here eating a lot of sugars, and then there's Dan McDonald who's like, yo, take it easy on your organs. Try to consider your pancreas. Try to consider your liver. Take it easy. Take a day from food. Drink juice one day. Eat oranges one day and see what that's like. Take a little 36-hour water fast. Just give your organs a break. They're working hard, buddy. 24/7, 365, where do you think all that energy is going? As soon as you pull the food out, holy mackerel, your brain lights up. And that's the thing, you might not want to see. You know, you're blaming, that's funny, like out there, people like, this dude's all about the money and all this, like, pfft, yeah, right. If you stopped eating for 3 days and you looked at yourself, you would see that actually you care about money way more than the dude you're criticizing. But you do not want to look at that in yourself. You know, I think it takes big you-know-whats to like look at yourself, take responsibility for yourself instead of projecting onto other people your unconscious and unresolved issues that you have against yourself. You know, the guilt around money is very common. Money is the root of all evil. No, it's not. Greed is the root of all evil. Money is awesome beyond belief. If I had money, I would just give it all away. You know what I'm saying? Like I do. Like for my kids, man, like I've been doing better and better. And I got them a new place. Katya has her own bedroom. It's really helped her a lot. They had a 2-bedroom before. She was out in the living room. It sucks, you know. I hooked it up. A couple $100 more bucks. I'm a good dad like that. Like my dad was. But now I'm trying to become a father, you know, so I can really show up. It's not just like about here's some food and a roof over your head, but here's somebody who actually is interested in who you are as a person. So that's my next, you know what I'm saying? And that's an automatic response of my own healing, or my own, scratch that, my own wholeness, allowing the wholeness to arise, the flower to grow, and to be willing to be there throughout the process, even if parts of it are uncomfortable. Because I'll tell you, that water fast was, I think I've done 11 or 12 7-day water fasts, 10-day, 14-day water fast, you know. And that was the hardest by a million, zillion, billion miles. I mean, these demons were bigger, better, stronger, faster, meaner. It was like tuku, 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 tuku all night long. My nerves were just burning. The amygdala releasing serotonin and dopamine. Feeling that feeling of, oh my God, am I unlovable? You know. Of course, logically, I know that I am, but deep down in my depths of that unconscious programming, that's my greatest fear, that I'm not lovable. And that just fires everything up. So I'll leave the video at this. I told you I called Sophia and I was like, I just broke the fast on mandarins, you know. And I had just had one meal and I said, I can't wait till the next one, the next fast. See, because some people, they do like they gear up for this big thing and they go do a 21-day water fast in Costa Rica or over at True North, and then the next thing you know, it's like when they're done, they're like, oh my God, I'm never gonna do that again. It's a bitch, you know. And then, but all the greatest, Lou and Arnold Ehret and all the other ones, it's like shorter fast, because it's not just about the physiology of the food trip and the mucus in your gut. It's also these other things. And so you can't just ream it. You're like violent towards yourself. You got this hurt little archetypes, these hurt little parts of your being, and now you're just going to starve them? No. But if you're intelligent about it and you realize what you're doing and you're doing it in a way that's very nurturing, then you're not like starving the little kid, like, and it's like, oh, you really don't love me. No, it's like, you know, 7 or 10 days on water and then you eat again, and then it's like, you know, it's a very gentle process. So I just said to Sophia, I was like, I can't wait till the next one. I can't. And so I will just make some more videos now and keep having fun with my thing and throwing up videos over to the Insiders Club and doing everything I can here to just have fun and to show up and do my little art on the videos, and then I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to keep growing and learning and evolving and having a great time. So, thank you very, 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 very much
for being who you are, for being here and sharing your time with me like this. It is an honor and a privilege